Alright, hello everyone. So yesterday we talked about law of cosines and we used it to find a missing side length. So we have the formula a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times side b times side c times cosine of angle A. So today we want to expand on law of cosines and use it to find an angle measure. So in our formula right now, the only thing that is an angle deals with cosine of A. That capital A is our angle. So if we want to solve for angle A and use it, let's go ahead and solve this equation for angle A. So I'm going to start off by subtracting b squared and c squared from both sides. So I get a squared minus b squared minus c squared equals, the leftover part is minus 2bc cosine of angle A. Now, to get angle A by itself, these are all multiplied, so I'm going to divide the whole thing by negative 2 times b times c. So I'm left with a squared minus b squared minus c squared divided by negative 2bc, and that equals cosine of angle A. And now, if I want to get angle A by itself, I have this cosine times angle A. So to undo that function or get rid of it, I need to take the inverse. And since it is cosine of angle A, I want to take cosine inverse of both sides. So I'm going to do cosine inverse of a squared minus b squared minus c squared, all divided by negative 2bc, and that equals my angle A. So I'm going to use this formula, cosine inverse of a squared minus b squared minus c squared divided by negative 2ba to solve some problems. So let's go ahead and look at one of those problems it looks like. And as many of you are taking notes at home, I am also making this video at home, so pardon my transition and pulling up new whiteboards. But let's say we're given this problem. To solve the triangle x equals 12, y equals 14, z equals 20. And note that they're all the lowercase letters, so we know that these are the side lengths of a triangle. Then, let's go ahead and start by drawing a triangle. And now, I'm going to make this a capital Y. So now, the side opposite of this angle x is going to be my 12. Side opposite of my angle y is going to be 14. And side opposite of z is 20. Okay, so now, when the problem says solve the triangle, what they're really saying is find all the missing information of that triangle. So if you notice, the things that we are missing, I need to solve for my angle x, my angle z, my angle y. So I'm solving for three angles. I can't use law of sines because in order for law of sines, I need an angle measure and that opposite side. And so I don't have any of the angles, so I can't do that. I can't use our law of cosines from yesterday because, again, I don't have one of my angles, and I need at least one of my angles and two of my sides there. So I'm going to use our new formula of law of cosines that we just talked about. And I'm going to jot it down right up here really quick. So let's just start by solving for angle x. So I'm going to set this formula up in terms of solving for angle x. So that would be x squared minus y squared minus z squared divided by negative 2yz, and remember that is cosine inverse of that whole problem. So that is our formula. I'm going to put it in blue so we kind of see it. So now let's take it and we'll start substituting things in. So I'm going to take cosine inverse of x squared, that's going to be 12 squared minus 14 squared minus 20 squared, all divided by negative 2 times 14 times 20, and that equals the measure of angle x. So I'm going to take out my graphing calculator, Make sure we are in degree mode, or else we'll get a different answer. Remember, chapter 8, we're in all degree mode. So I'm going to type this directly in. Cosine inverse of, I'm going to put everything in parentheses just so it's a little bit clearer. So I'm going to put parentheses 12 squared minus 14 squared minus 20 squared. And I want that all divided by, so I need to put parentheses around that numerator. Divided by, and I want this denominator to all be together, so I don't put that in parentheses. Negative 2 times 14 times 20. Close up those parentheses, press enter, and I get that x equals 36.18 degrees. So now I fill out my triangle. 36.18 degrees. So now I have one angle, I have all my sides. And now I like to use all the given information to find all the information. So in order to find my other angle, I'm actually going to use this law of cosines again. So now let's go ahead and use it. I'm going to use it to try and find my angle y. So I'm going to have then another formula where it's cosine inverse of, and now instead of 12, I'm going to have my y squared, so 14 squared minus 12 squared minus 20 squared, all divided by negative 2 times 12 times 20, and that's going to equal a measure of angle y. If you notice the difference between these formulas, I just swapped out my x and my y value. So I have 14 squared minus 12 squared now, and where it was divided by 14 is now divided by 12. So just flipping those two angles out. And again, I'm going to type this into my calculator again. I'm going to get 14 squared minus 12 squared minus 20 squared divided by negative 2 times 12 times 20. And I get my cosine inverse is 43.53. So 43.53 degrees. I'm going to plug it in here. And now I ask myself really quickly, does my answer make sense that I get 43.53? And if you look, my side length y is a little bit bigger than my side length for x, so their corresponding angle should be bigger. So it does make sense that my angle y is bigger than my angle x. So we're good there. Then, to find my angle z, you could do law of cosines a third time, but instead, we also know that the measure of a triangle is always 180 degrees. So I'm just going to take 180 minus 36.18, or the measure for angle x, minus the measure for angle y. To get this is 180. 100.29 degrees. And I can ask myself one last time, does it make sense that my angle z is the largest angle? And it does, because my side length, my given side length, z was the longest one, so my angle should also be the largest one. So I'm just going to put it as a recap at the bottom, and I'll zoom in for you at the end. When I say solve the triangle, we need to find all the key information. So that means that angle z is equal to 100.29 degrees. Angle y is equal to 43.53 degrees. And angle x is equal to 36.18 degrees. Boom, boom. So I'll zoom in on that right now. There are your three final answers.